Throughout the course of Pokemon history, it is no secret that Magikarp has had some absolutely insane artworks, some insane chase pulls back in like Neo Revelation with the Shining Magikarp. Fast forward to almost modern day, you have the set Team Up, and Magikarp Wailord came in that guy, and honestly, that artwork's pretty sick and a lot of people love it. You've got Snap Magikarp, you've got University Magikarp. It gets handed out at tournaments. It's been such a popular Pokemon for such a long time, and it's no surprise that the Paldea evolved Magikarp is going absolutely insane.
It's a really popular Pokemon.
So what's going on with this little fish? Why is it almost $500 in a PSA 10? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious. This card has a 25% 10 rate, meaning when you send a pack fresh Magikarp illustration rare into PSA, you have a 25% chance of getting a 10. That's actually really, really low. I mean, I think that probably weighs out over time. I think those are probably increased, but there is a very, very good reason why these cards keep getting terrible grades. So the answer is quite simple, unfortunately. Paldea evolved the illustration rares, the corners, print lines, all this stuff. Actually, really, all the illustration rares out of Scarlet and Violet have not been the best quality in terms of printing and stuff, but this card right here is no exception. So one of the big things, so I pulled this out of a ETB, a Paldea evolved ETB, and see that corner right there? See that white dot? Okay, and another one, it's smaller on that side, but you can still see it. And then on the bottom, you actually can see that one's pretty bad, and then that one's pretty bad. So terrible corners. There's no shot, absolutely no shot that this would get a 10. And so this is just your garden variety Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. A lot of them look like this. You know, the mintiest ones get sent to PSA and they're not getting 10s. So that's kind of wild, but anyway, so what's going on with this card? Currently there are about 500 PSA 10 examples and like 2,000 graded examples. It's a really hard card to pull in Paldea Evolved as well because there's so many illustration rares that the chance of getting one specific one is just, it's tough. It's a tough card to pull. But does this make it a good buy? Okay. Yeah, are we looking at a Shining Magikarp 2.0? Are we looking at something like the Magikarp Wailord? I mean, are we looking at potentially one of the rarest Magikarps there is? The answer is a resounding no, okay? Paldea Evolved is a relatively new set coming out last year. There's just no reason why this card should be going for $500+ dollars. It's absolutely crazy. Take a look at the Magikarp Wailord from Team Up, a set that came out in 2019, has actually a much better 10 rate. I'll definitely grant it that, but the booster boxes are $2,000 plus. And that card in a 10 is going for about the same price, actually a little bit less than the illustration rare coming out of Paldea Evolved. If you look at a booster box of Paldea Evolved, it's hovering about $100 right now. So it's kind of wild, like the difference between a Team Up booster box, which is $2,000, it's kind of crazy. Like you take a set that's 5 years old and you take a set that's 1 year old, and it's just wild. You're seeing, it doesn't feel right. Something feels really off. In fact, if you wanted to buy a PSA 10 first edition base set Magikarp, I'm talking like OG Magikarp base set first edition. Now it's not the fancy artwork, all that good stuff, but it is the OG Magikarp. That's gonna set you back $513. That's a recent sale I just saw. So I mean, the discrepancy is absolutely insane. Like the sealed price for Paldea Evolved, either the Paldea Evolved booster boxes should be like $200, $250, you know, they should be like insane, and that would justify the price of this pull, or this card's just too expensive. Now, I don't want to say like don't buy it, because honestly, I don't know where this card could go. I mean, could the 10 rate dip below 20%? You know, can it really be that bad and that hard to grade that it just starts, you know, falling and falling and falling like the 10 percentage? It's definitely possible, and if that happens,
that card's gonna be pretty valuable.
But is it more likely that more Paldea Evolved gets opened, more gets sent in, pretty soon cat's out of the bag, and there's like thousands upon thousands of PSA 10 Magikarp illustration rares? That's probably the more likely scenario. But still, like 20%, 25% on a 10 rate is really, really low, especially for Scarlet and Violet. We've been seeing like, in Scarlet and Violet era, we've been seeing like 50% is like pretty normal, or like 49% or just over like 55%. We've been seeing that kind of more consistently. So to see something this low is like pretty alarming. So what's the verdict on this card? Is it a good buy? Is it a bad buy? Honestly, I think it might be a bad buy. I think if you can find these for like 300, 350 in the future, that feels like a pretty reasonable price. It is a huge card. A lot of people really love it. The same artist who drew the Giratina V everybody loves. But $500 for this card right now just doesn't make a lot of sense. I can't see this card going like, you know, stratospheric. I can't see this card pushing much further beyond that, especially while Paldea Evolved is still readily available. And in the print window, it's possible that this set gets reprinted. Quality on the second batch can be a lot better than the first. Probably won't be, but it's possible, right? It's definitely possible. It also could be worse. So there's that. So yeah, interesting card. I would say wait on this card right now. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna get myself a 10. I might wait to see if I can snag a BGS 9.5, maybe a CGC 9.5 that looks pretty good, and then just cross it over to a 10 over at PSA, because that's where I get all my cards graded. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. You guys tell me, what are you thinking about this card? Is this card overpriced? Is this card perfectly priced? What do you guys think? Is it gonna go atmospheric? Is it gonna go into the actual moon, or is it gonna crash back down to earth? You guys tell me in the comment section. Good to see you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.